Hey everyone. The new Lionel catalog has come out, and I just breezed through it, and I'm here to share with you my opinions on it. Now, if you hear me talk like this, that is because I'm actually overwhelmed by this catalog. This specific one, the 2019 Volume 2, was a whole lot more than I ever expected it to be. Doesn't mean I'm saying it's bad. Certainly means no. There are some really cool things in here, and there are some things that I really think should have stayed behind the drawing board and not into the pre-production and prototype models that they're doing. Now, of course, this is my opinions. My opinions are always biased. I understand. I'm a person who lives in an area where, we don't really get too much merchandise from my area in my scale. And not only that, Lionel is going to turn 119 years old around this December. This company's been around for a very long time, and by no means am I saying that they're stopping this or anything. It's just that it just feels this catalog in particular, it feels a little bit delayed. It actually came out a few months early than I remember them ever coming out. And there's definitely a few things that, I'm really interested in. And surprisingly, I'm saying that. So without further ado, I'm going to look at every page as well and give you my full ideas about it, or my thoughts on. And let me tell you, this is like a one-shot thing that I'm doing, and I'm going to screw it up a lot. Post-production me doesn't have to worry too much. And also, my cat is right behind me. So if you hear any noises like that, he's just doing stuff. And the window's open, so if you hear that, yeah. But right off the bat, I will admit, I do like this cover art with 4014, and they scribbled the big boy on the smokebox door as the real story with the big boy, or supposedly the real story, was, I forget the actual name of it, but someone inscripted in chalk, big boy, on the smokebox door, and the name stuck. But yeah, I have to click it first, don't I? Nope, that zooms. Okay. There we go. So we have O scale, O gauge, expand your world, which is basically, just the accessories, S gauge, and HO this time around. And the theming, you want to say it's like a station. I wouldn't say anything like Grand Central's underground, because first off, steam would never be allowed down there. But it's like kind of ornate, and they're trying to make it feel like an underground station almost, which is interesting, But the Lion Chief Plus 2.0, I do actually want to talk about this, and this is my first video talking about this stuff. I'm going to try to do it more in the future. I really wanted to do the MTH 2019 catalog and the Lionel one. But I was a few months late, and I was like, you know what, I'll just wait for the next one around. So I've been hyping this one for a long time. But Lion Chief Plus 2.0, this is what the line should have been when it first started. Basically, TMCC Legacy compatible. See, you know how MTH has their DCS system, you can buy a Rail King starter set, and in the future you can buy Premier engines and use the same system. And that's the cat yelling at me. With Lion Chief, it's kind of like you're buying Lion Chief to run Lion Chief, and if you want Legacy, you're going to have to spend the extra money, get the Legacy system. This is what it should have been, where they talk together, and it's actually some really cool features on Lion Chief Plus 2.0, I will admit. Compared to Lion Chief itself, and it is a long name, I'm just going to call this, TMCC of the 21st century, really, or, stuff like that. Lion Chief Plus 2.0, it doesn't really deserve the name like that. And the Bluetooth integration, I feel, is a dumb thing to do with Legacy. To be completely honest, we did not need Bluetooth on Legacy. In fact, I think it's screwed up a few engines. I've heard some reports that they're losing their ID numbers, and they're trying to find the Bluetooth connection. I don't remember what it was. It might have been the H10. I know it wasn't the Atlantic, which I do have the E6 Atlantic. It was from the 2017-18 catalog era. But anyway, welcome to O-Scale. And we're greeted by a Northern. Now, I believe this is a retooling of the Santa Fe. I don't remember what it was, but they actually re-put it in this model, or this catalog as well. And of course, we still have the Penske S2 turbine, or not the S2, just, is it? I don't remember, I'm stupid. The Penske turbine diagram. This is cool. I didn't think they were actually going to catalog the 440 or the American hybrids, but they are. And I just have one little question about the pilot and cowcatcher of the Jupiter. Here are red, and I'm pretty sure they're blue. Pretty sure. And you know, if you want one of these, then go ahead. They actually cataloged a few extra things. I didn't think they really spoke much about the unpainted ones. I do remember in the video that came out on the 10th, or May 10th, they did talk about unpainted, but I didn't really see them in the catalog, or my retailer, or my dealers. Here they are in the catalog. We also have the Northern Central, or the York, the Leviathan, and the Penske 573. I do like the Leviathan. They've actually got the colors right with the red on everything else. Built to order once again. But one thing I really have to question is there's no sound on these. I mean, you can look, I'll actually do this if you want to pause it, like I did with the Steamtown video. If you want to look at this, there's no sound on these engines. But they are legacy compatible. Or they're actually made for legacy. And that is because you have to get one of these, it even says it right here, you have to get one of these passenger car packs. And one of them has a soundboard, and one of them is just regular passenger car. And I believe this one is just passenger cars. But there's Union Pacific, Central Pacific, Northern Central, Woodruff and Penske. And this, I think, is what we are all waiting for. The big boys. Now, I do want to talk right off the bat. I will give props to MTH. As soon as something comes out in the real world, they're like, put it in the catalog. Lionel takes their time. And I think it's because they don't want to be overwhelmed, and I'm fine with this, because when something goes in the catalog, there's still at least a year before it's produced, which is totally fine with me. But it took some time to get a big boy out of Lionel recently, and they dropped the price, like, what was it, 500 or 600 from the original Vision Line big boy. Now, this is not another Vision Line run of the big boy. In fact, it has the multiple speakers and only whistle steam. There's no ash pan or dynamo steam. It is just a whistle steam, dual stack smoking big boy. Nothing wrong with that. There are also oil tenders as well, and I do want to say what they call the first run edition, which I would think would be a coal burner. They don't need to put the depleting coal load tender back on it, but you get the chalk on the smoke box door on the first run, or what they call the first run edition. And there is the excursion version. I love saying that. And it even says right here, no big boy chalk on smoke box. And they do have a cab floor plate, which looks pretty cool. I don't know if that's on the real big boy. It probably is. I do know the Southern Pacific Daylight 4449 has the SP emblem on the cab floor. And then they have a Greyhound and a big boy that's not 4014, which, if you probably don't know, most people, if they want to buy one of these, are probably going to go for 4014 excursion version or first run, mainly because those are the popular ones. And what's actually pretty cool is if you look at the number on this one, 4012, I just saw this big boy in Steamtown. And you're watching this on the same channel where I uploaded that video, so if you want, click on that if you want to see it. But 4005, I personally feel is going to be the unpopular one. Doesn't mean they're not going to make it. They probably are. But if you want an obscure, I'm doing air quotes, obscure big boy, probably go for 40.05. Then again, there's surprisingly a few other things in this catalog that might be worth your money. I mean, it is over $2,000 for a big boy. I get it, it's a big boy and everything. And not everyone wants one, and you also need 072 curves. So, that's the other thing. If you don't want to, get the big stuff, there's other things as well. And this caught me by surprise, the EM1. I don't recall there being an EM1 done in the past few years. I definitely don't think this is new tooling. I think they're just using this from, like maybe 8 years ago. But I will admit, if there's one to talk about, it's probably the B&O 7600. I don't know why, but that looks cool. I'm definitely not buying one of these. In fact, what I'm saving up for is the Legacy Hudsons coming out hopefully by the end of this year. Those are going to be nice because Lionel can't screw up a Hudson. That's what they're most famous for. That and the War Bonnet F units. But there's something about this, it's almost like the B&O Streamliner, how they did with like the tender and like the design of it. And this caboose, we haven't seen cabooses like this in years, I'm going to recall. So it's pretty cool to see that, but that's on the rolling stock. And there's more EM1s as well. There's Northern Pacific, Duluth Miserable, and Iron Range, a Union Pacific, because they have to have everything, and a Western Maryland. Once again, nice engines. I don't think I'm going to be getting one of these, and these are all what-if schemes, so don't get too worried, guys. These aren't the real, or they're not saying these existed. And the built-to-order is on, like, everything. Now, the Northerns, or the, Northerns, 484S, as they're calling these. I just, I'm going to say it again, just like in the chat, or the Steam Time video, at Jason Fields. I know you just saw the Frisco 4500 Meteor. I saw that video, you uploaded it today. Here she is, from Lionel, with whistle steam. And there's a decent amount of road names with this, because with the original it was only the Santa Fe with the two, or I believe it was only the Santa Fe with the two numbers. There might have been a few others, but these are all like distinctly different. And if anything, this Atlantic Coastline one's getting me. I think it's that silverish paint scheme. Looks pretty good. Yep, and here we go. Yeah, the AT&SF 3751 class. Now these two, I want to say, were previously produced, these two here, and they had the swappable smokestacks. Now I don't know if these are swappable or not. I will look at this real quick just to make sure. Yeah, I don't believe so. Oh yeah, no it is. Interchangeable smokestacks, lowered, raised, and shielded. So there you go. You do still have those stacks, and if you missed out in the past, then here's your chance again. I want to say this is the, what was it, the Blue Goose paint scheme? I do believe it was a Hudson. In fact, I think it was the only streamlined Hudson the Santa Fe owned. This is a Northern, it's not streamlined, but it's like that robin's egg blue color. I'm never going to forget that. And it honestly doesn't look half bad in the catalog. I'm sure in reality it won't look the best, but if it's your thing, then go ahead, guys. I'm just here to say, here's the catalog, here's my opinions on it. And of course we're getting these copy paste passenger cars. They look pretty good here though. They still haven't made like generic Pullman for everything. These are all Santa Fe California Limited. And there's silver ones down here too. They don't look that bad, the silver plated ones. Or they're not really silver plated. They're known as the shadow lines, but they look like they could be, white or light gray. But the nameplates definitely, to me, in the prototype, look silver plated. And this is when I smashed my head on my table. Not kidding. I actually made an almighty thump with it. The 466T. Oh Goodness gracious. It's teasing me in the bottom or right corner. It really is. Now, in case you don't really know, this was a steam engine that was made, I want to say, around the 1910s and 20s. Basically, it was a tank engine made for specifically branch line service. I think they actually talk about it here. Yeah, 28. Yeah, the small tender, it really isn't a tender though. It really is just the, like I said, a tank engine. Like basically a Shay. How they have like the two truck Shay I'm specifically talking about, where they have like the coal bunker on the back and the whole water tank is just behind the cab, but it's fixated to it. And there are a few road names, I will admit, there are a lot. And yeah, they were passengers, I believe, for branch line service. So you didn't need like a big Hudson or it wasn't at the time, but like the Hudsons were just peaking around the corner around that time. Or like, you know, your Pacifics, you wouldn't need to have like a giant steam engine pull like maybe 4 cars at a station that's barely going to pick up 30 passengers a day. You know, you needed something a little smaller, and this thing was called on to the duty. Now, it's interesting to note that there's whistle steam on this thing. They have made smaller engines with whistle steam, I understand. But really, out of all engines, they would pick this is hit? Really? I mean, look at all the road names too. We got Boston and Albany, New York Central, New Jersey Central, Illinois Central, Canadian National, U.S. Army in that silverish color, Lackawanna, and my home railroad. I'll just zoom in on here real quick to get the whole head pound effect. Yeah, they made a New Haven one. And for those who don't know, if anything is New Haven in O scale, specifically from Lionel, they tend to not make as much. I try to get it. I really try. Mainly freight cars. You know, they were going to make that R1A Mountain. That looked nice. And my dealer, I didn't put it in an order, but my dealer dropped it on his website. I was actually kind of confused. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to make it. I actually don't know if they are or not. Because the Hudson, once again, trying to get that. But if they don't make that, and this is the solution to say, hey, okay, we'll make a New Haven steam engine, you know, I'm not happy to accept that, to be honest. You know, out of all things, they choose to put New Haven on for steam. Happens to be the 4660. And I will zoom in on these two. Or actually these 3, because the New York Central, I believe, was the one who had started it all for with the gray smoke box. Canadian National, I want to say it's 47 was at Steamtown. And this is 51. But this U.S. Army one, I don't know, it's like that weird silver plating, once again, but it's not silver. It looks like a silver. They could make it silver plating. It's probably die cast, or whatever resin they used for the metal bodies. I don't want to say it's die cast, but actually, do they say? No, of course they wouldn't say here. I don't know. I'm really just not a big fan of this, and I'm gonna move on from here. And the Legacy Diesel, when I just saw this, I was like, okay, it's a little bit early, but are they going to show the 2 CSX Spirit engines? Spoiler, the answer is no. And I'm kind of a fan of CSX, for those who don't know. I'm a big fan of them. The fact that they even made Spirit engines to start with, CSX themselves, was big news. Because we know that CSX, you know, it's like, you don't really need a real engine like painted up in all these fancy colors and whatnot. It's just going to haul freight. It is nice to see a few, though. And I'm hoping by 2020 or 2020 Volume 2, that hopefully Lionel will actually make 1776 and 911. Okay, there's a jump cut there, guys, because I screwed something up really bad. But, you know, the two CSX engines, I hope those are going to show up soon. Because, oh boy, I think we all saw this coming. The George H.W. Bush funeral train. Or, more likely, George Bush, Union Pacific 4141. And I want to say that this is just like what MTH did, where they made a coffin in the baggage car, or they made a model of the coffin in the baggage car with the doors open. That'll be pretty cool if we get that. And I don't know why I just zoomed out. George H.W. Bush, I want to say this one was already made, so they're just relisting it in the Made in America presidential series. This funeral mint car, I don't know. I first saw it, I thought, oh, aquarium car, it moves around like his face. No, it's a mint car. So there's a guard in there. There's the coffin, and there's the presidential seal, the flag, and then a picture of him or two. Some of the cars. And they made a LED flag boxcar. Now, I won't talk too much about these, but yes, the LED flags on the first run were a little bit flawed. You can modify them to make a box behind it inside and have the light reflect a little harder. It also took them a whole long time to come out, so don't expect this one to be out anytime soon. And there's also a video here. I'm not going to touch it. You can watch it on your own, and I will leave a link to this catalog, by the way, and all the links that I see in here, which are in the catalog regardless, in the description below, because I might as well. But you can actually buy the set, the diesel, and I'm assuming these for passenger cars, but you can actually buy expansion cars, and I will get on this later. Oh, believe me, I will. These are all new tooled cars, apparently. And, you know, I'm not a Union Pacific expert, but they don't look that bad. Nothing, I didn't really think the other batch of Union Pacific cars that they made weren't that bad either. But, yep, I think we all saw this coming. The SD70 ACE of 4141, powered and non-powered, for a $300 catalog price difference. I'm hoping that they have the same features on the 1943 Union Pacific, because those had some nice features. Now, granted, that was a SD70AH. Now, the George Bush is a ACE, but these three, and I want to say, typically announced artwork, so they do have a few other. They do have another engine, but they couldn't get the prototype image in time to release the catalog, is what I'm getting from that. So yeah, you can get the George Bush again. Now, they made this engine like 8 years ago. I was re-looking at some of the old Lionel catalogs. Soon enough, in the 2011 print, they made a George Bush 4141 with Legacy, along with the two New Haven McGuinness SD70s, which are actually really nice. I'm going to assume they're never going to make those again, though. And yeah, I'm definitely sending a picture of this to my friends later today. Providence and Worcester, SD70, what is it? SD70M-2. Providence, Worcester. I don't need to say much more. I really don't think this exists in reality. Unless, now I could be wrong, I don't remember names and diesels that well. I'm a steam guy. 4301, 4302, unless those are the Burlington Northern Santa Fe ones we had purchased and repainted, then I don't really think those exist. And I want to say the Florida East Coast ones were in that catalog with the George Bush previously as well. So they're getting a return. I want to say this might be getting a return, or most of the stuff on this page is getting a return. And of course they are using the Norfolk Southern tooling with the above cab headlight, except for this one. and that one, and that one. So for some reason, this has the NS tooling, but I do believe it was the BNSF, if this is the same number and everything that was purchased. Now this caught my attention just a little bit. The CSX SD30, or SD38, excuse me. You know, it's just an SD38. Nothing too special, nothing too grand. Just a regular road diesel. And there are quite a few road names here. I'm a little bit surprised. We got Conrail, we got Stripe, Norfolk Southern, which I'm not a fan of either one, just to say. I mean of this, you know, Conrail is okay. We got CSX with the YN2, or the Y2, YN2 paint scheme. We got Grand Trunk Western Bessemer Lake Erie, which I don't really see too many Bessemer Lake Erie diesels. So anyone out there who's modeling the BNLE who might be interested in Lionel Legacy, well, I think you got another chance, my friend. And for those who don't know, I said it in the video when I went to Steamtown, I'm a fan of industrial switchers. I said that both as steam and diesel. And this is actually my favorite type of industrial switcher for a diesel, the S2. And there's only 6 paint schemes, and not many of them are really too, you know, tier 1 style name. Now that doesn't mean there aren't some big ones. You know, we got, what is it, Northern Pacific and Susquehanna, for example. Those are, you know, pretty big names compared to, you know, Youngstown, Morristown, and Erie. And then there's a Ford one. And there's actually a giant Ford boxcar that they're making as well. Now, I would actually be interested in hearing the sounds of these engines when they come out. And if they do plan on making more paint schemes, you know, Lionel, if you want to redeem yourself for New Haven stuff, New Haven had a ton of S2s. And with multiple paint schemes. I'm not saying McGinnis, and I'm not saying, you know, the green or the orange style, but it would be cool to see one of these with you, from you guys. I would definitely buy a New Haven or even a New York S2, as in New York Central. And then there are S4s with nickel plate. These are like way more common road names. Nickel plate, Northern Pacific, Santa Fe, Erie Lackawanna, and Southern Pacific. And I do want to say they are the same price. Here we go, what they say. The trucks are different. The Blunt truck and the AAR truck. Improved sound systems with the previous Alcos. Yeah. Both. Whoa, okay, I just closed the book. Fun. And you know what, I'm going to leave this in here just to say, you know, that was me screwing up, pressing the wrong button on the keyboard. And there are a lot of pages in this book. Now, this actually caught my attention just for a little bit. Let's see. It is about the same price of a small legacy steam locomotive for the whole set. And I want to say it's an S2. Yes, S2. Manufacturer's railway set. This doesn't look that bad. But you have to be 21 or older, because this makes sense to be 21 and older. The Lion Chief set with the Budweiser General does not. And it's only because of this right here. A beer tanker. Now, putting an age limit on trains, or like, you know, an age restriction on trains, it's not holding beer, it's not coming with beer, you know, this is not in the kids section as referred to the other one. This is a scale model train. And actually it's just one specific freight car that has the Budweiser logo on it and Hausenheimer-Busch Incorporated written on it. But it will emit, you know, just reskins once again of, you know, the reefer car, and for some reason I think it's just a prototype image. But first off, that knuckle does not look scale proportion, and second off, look at the cab roof. of an S2 and look at the roof of that reefer. I really think that they just, like, you know, copy pasted something there. And that boxcar is huge compared to that caboose. I have seen that caboose. It's relatively the same height. Not like that, like 2-inch gap right there. And we have some F7s. Not too special, once again, just, you know, regular F units. And then I saw this, and yeah, I'm only gonna hover over it for like 2 seconds. Pennsylvania with the Penn Central, although it still has a keystone, and a Penn Central back unit, and a B unit. We're moving on. There's Alaska, AA and separate B unit for the Alaska Railroad, and they are doing this sound generator car, or a generator car with a sound unit, which I think is interesting. You know, not too many railroad or model trains make, or model companies actually make a generator car to start with, but now Lionel's putting sound units in them, and it's probably just similar to the way back from like 10 years ago, the BNSF, what was it, the Iceman 32 below reefer set, when they had a diesel generator in one of the reefer cars, or they made the sound of a diesel generator like every 30 or 90 seconds. It would play out, and it would be on a timer to say, okay, play the sound, turn the sound off. A minute or two later, play the sound, turn the sound off, you know. But that is still a nice gimmick, you know, not too special. Once again, with, you know, Alaska, you don't see too much Alaska. You think you'd see more, and then you realize, oh, well, that's really it for Alaska. So once again, it is cool to see this. Once again, I won't be buying any of this stuff, believe me. I have better models to buy. Not saying these are bad, but they're just not what I'm trying to go for. And once again, you're seeing this logo correctly. I think we're going to get to it soon. And I'm not even going to hover over this because everyone knows how much I hate these guys. Oh yeah. The disconnect passenger cars. Do you have a beep? You now have matching beep style passenger cars to go with them. That's right, they're just disconnect cars. Or they're disconnect cars for passenger trains. You know, I really don't know what to think about this. Now, Lionel, before you even pull out the claim that, you know, the disconnect lineup isn't going that well, or, you know, the people love the disconnect line, let's make more cars, could you start reproducing some of the original stuff? You kind of ran out of stock a little early. You go on eBay, some of these cars are like $60+ for like a flat car. These things are hyper popular, but I really don't think we needed this in the lineup, to be completely honest. The Christmas one, well, it's Christmas to start with. Everyone knows that Christmas merchandise, some people buy Lionel trains for Christmas merchandise alone. I guess that would be like the only one that would make sense, kind of. The rest of them, not really. And yes, 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 yes. You did it. You put the camera from the camera caboose and the observation camera from a few years ago into another car. Yes, I am very happy to see this. I am not buying one. I'm actually getting 2 more camera cabooses. At the time I'm making this video, I can say that. I think it's a nice gimmick. You know, it's really not that much or more to get one of the cameras inside the car. It's really inexpensive compared to, you know, just buying the car alone. It's kind of worth buying with the camera. These are the 21-inch style camera cars. I want to say they're going to put it in the dome. I mean, this is just so cool. Now, I will admit, the price is a little high. Kind of what I said, they're not really, they are inexpensive cameras. They are inexpensive cameras. This is kind of an exception. I would personally stick with the Caboose. Thank you very much. And this almost got me questioning. This is definitely Union Pacific colors, but it's Norfolk Western. Just wanted to put that out there. But for those of you who actually have the Amtrak 21-inch aluminum cars, or not aluminum, but this might be a worthy addition. Once again, catalog price. Your dealer can probably shave $50 off of it. I'm pretty sure about that. And there are 2 new Empire State Express cars. Now, a friend of mine actually has the Empire State Express, just the engine, and I want to say 1 car. These cars are a little more expensive than I thought, but if he doesn't have them, or if you guys don't have them even, here's your chance to get the Combine and another observation car. And this caught my attention. I first saw the New York Central and I was like, ooh, New York. Freight sounds flat spot. Now what the heck are you asking a flat spot? Well, they're trying to make it so there's a flat spot on one of the wheels, which is basically a wheel that has had their brakes on for too long and there's a dent in the wheel, essentially. So the wheel can't turn and it's being dragged along. I'm going to have to hear one of these in person first before I commit to myself to getting one. Most likely the New York. If not, I don't know why. I always say that, I'm interested in like 1 or 2 cars of an interesting, nowhere near the area, like foreign name, road name. The DT&I doesn't look that bad. It's just a regular boxcar, I get it. And the New York one, like I said earlier, I'm from New Haven, with the New Haven steamer saying, it's close to home for me. So New York really isn't that far away, for road name. In fact, that's the secondary road name of stuff that I have. And hold on. Hold the phone. I'm noticing something. They noted it's a Youngstown door. Do they note anywhere else? Interesting. And there is a Penn Central one, which, if you don't know, I really didn't like the Penn Central merger. And it would almost be comical to get this and make it have the problem that, there's something wrong with the car. I am not spending any money on a Penn Central item, however. But for those who hate Penn Central and actually want to waste a little cash, there you go. Who want to make fun of them for saying, hey, this car was broken, listen to it. Yeah, here we go. More flag cars. I don't think it's the worst idea to come out with more of these. What were there, 10 in the last batch? I will admit the Amtrak one does look cool, with the saluting our veterans. Then we got the the Norfolk Southern ones. We got Kansas City Southern, which MTH, I want to say, came up with the whole line of these cars. Lionel, to my knowledge, from this book, is only making the one, but it does have the lights. Union Pacific Transcontinental 150, or Union Pacific Heritage, of the Race to Promontory. That one doesn't look that bad, and the number is actually 150 on it. Now, a friend of mine has a Line Master Big Boy, and I joked to him that, hey, if you want a Union Pacific car, there's a light-up flag car from Lionel with the Union Pacific, or the Steam program, with the Big Boy Challenger and the 844. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're going to see that pop-up or not, but there's a pop-up. I'm going to try to block it. From a friend of mine. Union Pacific 119 and Jupiter, cowcatcher to cowcatcher on the Promontory. I've seen worse. I'm not gonna buy this for sure, but hey, if you're a big fan of the 150, this would not be a bad addition to your hype collection. And this is completely fictional. And I'm sure a friend of mine would want to buy this who's getting into trains. I love USA with the flag on it. This would be a nice addition. Although it's not going to come out for a while, which is a little bit of a shame. And here we go with some more, just regular freight cars. And here's that Ford boxcar I was talking about. But these are just the regular 60-foot scale boxcars. We got Santa Fe, Pennsy, New York, Canada, Canadian Pacific, Penn Central, God help us, DTI, and Chevy. Interesting collection. And this Therm Ice reefer car, I recently picked up a MTH smoking tanker of Therm Ice. And I thought it was like a joke thing, like thermos, Therm Ice, Teehee. No, it's a real thing. And I might have to get this because I own that tanker now. Have a car or two, and there's actually two of them. I believe it's just a regular, reefer car. No sounds, no smoke, no nothing like that. The doors open. Okay. I might consider getting that in the future. And if anything, these are a little more interesting names and road names for the tankers. I still think the price is outrageous. And I don't know why. It's $80 catalog for one of these tankers. Any of them are interesting. It's either the Hercules Power or the Independence Energy. Only time will tell if I ever get one of these or, want to buy one. Or if I even get one. And here we go. The I-12 caboose? Very tiny font. Very interesting font to write that. I don't think we've seen these in years. And they don't look that bad. The chassis one looks pretty good. The B&O one looks, they're all B&O really, except for this one. Once again, more Polar Express merchandise for those who are buying just the Christmas stuff. It's the same price too, so it's not like Christmas tax. And some of the disconnect cabooses for those disconnect cars. Now I want to say this caboose here is based upon early narrow gauge in the West. I want to say Union Pacific lent out a car or two that was made for a caboose, and they wrote Union Pacific on it. That's why it's like in the similar colors. Doesn't say that anywhere on here. It's just known as Safety First. But it's reminding me of that, And, I don't need another logging caboose. I only have one logging engine. One logging caboose is just fine. And here we go into the O gauge market. Now, I've gone to scale, and I want to say this is Lion Chief Plus 2.0. Yeah. The Docksider. And I'm a little upset. There's, nothing really too special road name-wise. Oh, well. And, oh yeah, don't think I'm not going to talk about this. But I will mention side dump cars. Get them in a 4-pack. Those might not be the worst addition to my disconnect series of freight cars. And I love how I can't click on, the both of these. So I'm just going to click on the front one first. The Easter Egg Express. Dear God help us. Lionel, what are you doing? What are you doing? The girls' train was a flop. You learned that from the 60s. You want another flop on your hands? Oh, goodness. And I'm sure you've read it by now, but the Easter Bunny is getting some help this year in delivering Easter treats by train. Simply lay out some track, fill the cars with your favorite candy, and let the fun begin. The locomotive can be controlled by TMCC, Legacy, or TMCC, conventional, universal, Lionel Chief remote, or even a smart device. The train has features a serious hobbyist wants, and all the whimsy and simplicity for a family fun. Well, if it's not Chief Plus 2.0, I'm assuming TMCC. You know, he's got the serious hobby part right. Family fun is definitely correct as well. This is pastel beyond belief, and the girls' train was pasteled. But no, this is specifically for Easter, and that's a chocolate tanker. My God. What are they doing? And I will admit, the Christmas one does look cute. And you know what? I don't think you get track with this. I'm going to double check. But for that price... Oh no, you get track. You get track, you get a nice feature engine, you get some cars. These aren't that badly priced. Granted, these are Catalogue. I'm sure my dealer can knock off maybe 50 bucks off of that. Granted, I don't need one. I think these are the same Berkshires. Berkshire. I think those are the same one from the early version. Oh boy. Ravenhawk 6910. I know you're going to talk a lot about these. They're not 027. That I don't believe of. It's the Lion Master line. It has returned. And I do like that CSX one. Now, I don't need it. I really don't. SD80, SD90. I'm not the biggest fan of these. You know, the SD40-2, for those who don't know, is my favorite today. Diesel, even though those are kind of getting phased out a little bit. Followed by the, ES44s, the Gevos. Everyone loves Gevos. Nothing too special with them, but, you know, they're just so common. Once again, not a big diesel guy, so that's a lot saying that. Not a big fan of the SD80s, though, SD90s. They do look good, I'm sure. Once again, Ravenhawk 6910 can talk a lot about the tooling with these. These do look new tooling. The GG1, this is an earlier, like, post-war design for the GG1. So it's nothing to scale, but it does have the TMCC control. And there are a few different paint schemes, including both single and 5-stripe lines for both, Tuscan Red and, what was it, Ives Green, or not Ives Green, the Pullman Green, Pensy Green color. There's also a set. Once again, this, this isn't the worst set. Does it actually come? No, it does not come with track. I don't think it comes with track, no. Oh, well, so you are just buying the actual train with it. Not too bad, though. And these are the same FTs we saw before. And, yeah. Strasbourg is disproportioned once again. Oh, boy. What have they done to you, 90? What have they done to you? I think we all thought it was bad when 475 was rendered as a USRA 080. Now 90, one of the last operating decapods in America, is a USRA 080. The cars don't look that bad, though. We'll admit. They actually look more proper, and you do get the Philadelphia and Reading observation car that they do run in Strasbourg. Or you have to buy that separately is what I mean. Or if you want to buy it on its own. The billboard pack. Yeah. Just regular billboards in a Williams... No, not Williams. Groff's Picnic Grove. Looks absolutely nothing like this. But if you are modeling Strasbourg or want a few extra things, this might be on the list to pick up. And holy bejeez, I hope my great uncle sees this one part of the video. The Shark Research and Rescue set. I don't know why, but I like this. That's right, I'm interested in a bare basic Lion Chief train set. I can't explain it. I'm a big fan of aquatic life, sharks being one of my favorite. You know, we got the return of the submarine. I don't think it's powered. Hold on. We'll just look at this real quick, and yeah, it's just a GP-38. Shark observation submarine. I don't think it says the submarine works. It might. But if I can find this for, like, you know, maybe in a year or two, and it's discounted beyond belief around Christmas time or something at a department store, which you would be surprised, I picked up the Scooby-Doo set for like 80 bucks at Christmas time because of rewards and everything. If I can find this for under 100, I might as well grab it, because this walking brakeman shark fin boxcar, I like that. You know, I love the walking brakeman car, which I think was a American Flyer thing to start with, where you had the guy walking around the roof. Now there's a shark fin swimming around in the deep, and I'm noticing a little bit of a flaw in the prototype image. Not that it looks like the trucks are double layered, but there's no back coupler on this boxcar. But this is actually available for separate sale. I think I'm just going to pick this up, if anything, though. This aquarium car, which has no swimming placards on it. And it is a powered one, which means you put it on the track, you turn the switch on the bottom to on, and the sharks will swim around continuously. It's not that the train has to be in motion. That would look cool at a train show as well, because for those who don't know, I also have a miniature modular layout to take to train shows, and I'm actually one of the only ones in the area that does that to start with, to bring a layout besides just selling things. And to get the kids' attention, have a shark swimming around a freight car on a siding or on the train, you know, or even get, you know, a line chief set, have a loop of, you know, 27 track in the middle or something like that, have like multiple lines, have a scale train going around the outer loop, have a semi-scale traditional train like this go around in the inner loop. You see what I'm saying by this, guys? Not just for me, and also that nose. That looks cool. And I don't know, I don't really get the number of 440. I think it's just, you know, a random number, the shark research. I don't know what it is about this. I like it and half want it. You know, as much as I'm going into the scale territory of everything, which I have been for a while now, I'm actually selling some of my semi-scale stuff. As much as I want to get full into scale, you know, this might be an exception. This one is cute. Moving on, B&O Heritage. Not a bad car. I'm not a big B&O collector, but if you are, there's one in Rio Grande as well. Angela Trotter Thomas made a new boxcar with some post-war diesels. Oh boy, here we go. No, I'm going to talk about the walking brakeman car first. This is a better example of it. There's a peg coming out of the floor. The guy stands on the peg, and it's actually the aquarium car mechanism inside, but there's the pole that goes like on a bend like that, and it walks around. And, you know, the shark fin on the other one. Now, Ferdinand Magellan observation car. It's the standard 027 Madison observation car, and they just decided to put Ferdinand Magellan on it. Nothing of scale, proportions, or anything like that. It's not bulletproof windows. It is not the corrugated clustery or anything like that. And if anything, this is this is the presidential version. Look at that observation gate. That is the presidential placard. There are no speakers on the back either. Lionel, you really have to come to market if you want to make this thing a Ferdinand Magellan. Once again, not hating on it though. I'm just speaking my opinion that, you know, I guess you could probably, cover that up with, some black tape or put your own thing on that and have it just a regular Ferdinand Magellan before it was transformed into the Ferdinand Magellan presidential car, which, yeah, was just a regular observation car before that. I guess if you want to do that, then go ahead, but I personally don't feel that's going to be selling too many. That's just me. Happy anniversary, happy birthday. These are all the same prototype images. And I will flash a picture up right now. My two favorite prototype images for these were the Christmas and birthday boxcars of, I want to say, 2016 Ready to Run Volume 2. I'll put a note in the video to say what it is. But I need people in the comments right now to tell me what was going on in that image. Either image, really. But this is interesting. Notice the year on this prototype. They had this in the makings for a while. They just never released it. These are just the regular, run-of-the-mill boxcars. They're actually the same prototype image from earlier cataloged. And here we go to expand your world. Accessories, basically. Now, these are kits. You have to build these. For some reason, this one looks a lot like the MTH Country House. It's probably just me, but I'm just saying that. But you have to sit down, grab some super glue, and put these all together. Now, okay, good. It is fully assembled. I was gonna say, if you have to build this, that'd be interesting. But this is getting me. I'm like, it's a lot of money for a smoking house, or a burning house. But I recently just got a firehouse. I'm trying to get a fire engine, because the firehouse came with a ambulance. But, if I actually had a story while the ambulance was in the firehouse, with the fire engine out, this could be the example with a burning building. Here we go with some assorted accessories now. My boy Steve, shout this one out to you, man. I know for a fact you're going to want to buy 2 packs of these to use every billboard. I know you, don't think you won't. And yeah, there's these jokes. Lighted figures. I don't know how they're lighted, but Smoking Tony, his cigar lights up. I guess his helmet lights up, this guy's lamp lights up, his jackhammer lights up, and this guy's flashlight lights up. You have to ask a few questions why they have to light up and why they're $20 each. But they're not bad. If you're into that thing, then go ahead. These are just regular people packs. The prisoners look good. Sitting people, kids on sleds, unpainted stuff, not too special. Oh boy. Took them what, 16, 15 years to actually release fast track screws? And it's only $10 for 100. That's actually not a bad price. I'm gonna have to pick some up. Once again, my modular layout is fast track. My actual layout is fast track. And only now are they made 15 years after. Doesn't mean I haven't bought actual screws, but these are fast track specifically, which means Lionel makes them the right height and everything for the wood. Goodness gracious. And this is nice to see. The CW80, new and improved. For those who don't know, CWs have a huge known problem, and that's 1 in every 5 produced would not work. Doesn't say they're not bad. They are definitely good transformers, don't get me wrong, 80 watts of AC for your starter set back in the day was more than enough. And if anything, I'm actually using CWs on my home layout. It's nothing too big, but it's enough to power a legacy diesel and a legacy steamer together with multiple smoke units, a plug-and-play, expansion thing with the signal tower and lamp post, or not the lamp post, the American flag. Not only that, but, cars with lights and smoke units and my camera caboose. It's good enough to power all of that. Once again, not a big enough layout, but it works. New and improved. I don't understand what they mean by new and improved, but, the built-in circuit protection, that's the same thing. Lion Chief Plus, Lion Chief 2.0, Legacy, Traditional, or I call it conventional. Plug and play and accessories. Well, that's what the old one did. You're not really telling me what's new and improved about it. Is it the fact that it actually works? Or that most of them work? I've run into, 3, and I've had 2 crap out on me. Yeah, I've run into 3. One was bought online from a friend who wanted to, get one himself. Didn't work. At a show, we tried testing it. Didn't work. And in store, actually, I overheard someone testing one. It didn't work. Straight out of box. So, once again, I had a steam engine. E6 Atlantic that was sent without a working not smoke unit. The smoke unit worked perfectly on it. No, the soundboard was completely trashed on it. It wouldn't want to do anything except a whistle, a bell, and idle steam sound every now and then. Nothing worked. So Lionel's quality control, I don't know. Hopefully new and improved means you're actually looking at these things and making sure they work. If you get one that works, it's going to last. I'm still using my original one from 2005. And it still works just as great as it did before. So just to say, the CW80 is a good transformer. If you don't want your wall plug and you want an actual transformer for your layout, I don't remember it being $150. I really don't. I always got them in a set. But go ahead and try to get one if you want. Just remember to test it in store. Now, I'm not an S-gauger. I'm going to just browse through this real quick. But I do like that EP5 SSR Anime Legacy Berkshires. Not bad. These all look very similar to the old ones. Then we got some Legacy U30Cs. I like the CSX one. That's the very early CSX. And actually the C-board, I don't know if that's the gray C-board or the black one. But I would actually get the gray one. Once again, not an S-gauger. But I do have a little bit of S-gauge, and my few friends of mine collect only flyer and some of the Lionel stuff, as they call it. And what else is it? Right, the museum that I belong to, we also have an S-gauge layout. One of those would not be the worst. And then here we go. We got Flyer Chief EP5s, New Haven. Those existed. New York Central. Don't think they existed. Great Northern. I want to say those existed. Pennsylvania Silver. Yeah, no, I don't think that existed either. If anything, the EP5 was either just for New Haven or a few were dispersed as well for the Great Northern, I want to say. But the McGinnis one is accurate to what it is, Great Northern Heavyweights, blah blah blah. There's McGinnis Heavyweights, New Haven. These look nice. And then, just some regular old Freight Sound boxcars. Half of these boxcars are always Freight Sound ones. But hey, there's new road names. Does it actually say which one is which now? Oh no, my mistake. These are the Freight Sounds. I'm thinking of the engine sound ones. No, these are the wheels squeaking and the clacking and everything going on. It's a nice gimmick, believe me. Except if they're as quiet as everything else that Lionel made for the S-gauge market, prepare to have the thing on full volume. Because the O-gauge ones are loud. But a lot of S-gauge stuff I've heard is quiet compared to the O-gauge speaker volume, which tends to be very loud compared. Anyway, just some regular old 3-bay hoppers and the milk flat cars. I want to say these are the original, or very close to the original designs. You know, not too special. Florida orange juice, Polar Express hot chocolate, which is not coming out this Christmas. They make note of that. Just like they know it's too early to release. Come on. Anyway, oh boy. Oh boy. HL. In case you didn't hear the news, Lionel came back to HL. Every engine is still a Berkshire, however you say it. But now there's a lot of freight cars. And believe me, oh boy, there are a few. Right off the bat, you got a NicholFloyd freight set. That caboose looks nice. There's also some buildings as well. And Lionel HO Fast Track. We got Army cars. Except it's Santa Fe for some reason. PS1 boxcar. That looks pretty good. That's a PS1 boxcar. You know, the tanker looks nice as well. And we got a Christmas one, and this is funny. Sled X. Teehee. I want to say this is like the same thing they cataloged before, but with freight cars now, because they made this engine with that paint scheme with passenger cars. That is a nice looking caboose, by the way, will admit. I don't know why, but the HO cabooses look nice. And there's a HO sleigh on a flat car, covered hopper. Here's some of the cars. These are actually the Army cars. I want to say, yeah, the Marine recruit cars, or the recruit cars. Then we got some open hoppers. The C&O one looks nice. Got some covered hoppers. This one doesn't look that bad. And there's a pacemaker. I like the pacemaker. Some tankers. Then we got, of all things, a CSX flat car with half intermodals. Looks pretty good. And I do believe these are the standard, what are they, HOKDs? What they're known as? KD, HOKD couplers, the knuckle, tier 2 style. So they should work with other HO stuff as well. Then we got the half tankers, or yeah, the water tankers. And the wood cabooses, there's 2 Long Island ones, except this might be a spelling error. Actually, I lied. It is an error. There's only one Long Island. This is Long Island number 14. This is New York Central 19019. I lied. It's Long Island 14 again. Oh boy. So there's a little error, guys, if you want to screenshot that. Not everyone is perfect. I get it, you know. We all make spelling errors. We all make continuity errors, especially how I talk. And, you know, some new houses, or actually these are the kits as well. Pretty nice. Some new houses and buildings. And you actually, it looks like you get one of the light things as well. And the burning house once again. Here's some accessories, some eat signs, some stations, some billboards. More of those half containers. Some lights and the half tanks and some people packs and benches and whatnot. Once again, Lionel's coming back into HO. They were not kidding when they said they're coming back strong into HO 2019. They really weren't kidding about this. And here's some of the track. There's Flex Track, Fast Track, Joiners, and wheel set conversion, metal wheel set packs. Plus couplers. So I don't know if that's for converting a coupler. Once again, I'm not an HO guy, okay? I am not. But I'm not sure if that's to say, you know, these are our couplers, you have to have our couplers or anything like that. Or if you have like a broken coupler or a broken wheel, I'm sure it's probably just for replacement parts then. But yeah, that's the Lionel 2019 Volume 2 catalog. Like I said, there was a lot to offer in this, you know? And I'll just put it on the, here's the Lion Chief Plus 2.0. I'll just put it back on the big boy. Okay. Quite what I said, you know, there's a lot to offer. There's some cool stuff, there's some weird stuff, there's some kooky stuff, there's a whole bunch of HO stuff. Guys, tell me in the comments below what you thought of the catalog, any, you know, appraisals you have or any ideas, and I'm sure I goofed up a few things and skimmed over a few and talked way too much on some, I'm sure of it. But if there's anything interesting you want to talk about in the comments, or, you know, if you're interested in any of the products, or you want to talk about, you know, some things they got right, things they got wrong, go ahead and tell me below. You know, I will definitely try to do more of these if I get more catalogs, and, you know, all the MTH catalogs and the main ones have came out already. So I guess we'll have to wait for 2020 for the standard vision, or the standard vision year for the Lionel and MTH catalogs. I'll hopefully look through. I'm not a big MTH guy. I'm definitely not like buying any engines from him. I do like his rolling stock though. But yeah, that's about it for this video, guys. Take care, and we'll see you soon.